Hi, Gabby Turner here. Welcome to this pick a card reading. In this reading, we are going to be asking, why are you dreaming of them, or what does your dream of them mean? You know, kind of exploring. So you've been having a dream of this person, and we're going to see what's going on with that. Does it mean something? What does it mean? That's the vibe. Also, for those of you who are interested in getting messages from animal spirit guides, I do feel that the owl, OWL, owl spirit guide is coming through. So you might want to look up the owl and see what that might mean to you if you're someone who tends to connect with spirit animal medicine, or however you want to refer to it. But in any case, for this pick a card reading, why are you dreaming of them? What does your dream of them mean, etc.? We have three options represented by these goddess oracle cards. Option number 1 is Amaterasu. Option number 2 is Gaia. And option number 3 is Bast. So I'm going to hold them up a little bit more closely here. You can pause the video if you need time to tune into your intuition and determine which option or options are reaching out to you. So this is generally intended to be for a romantic person of interest. So yeah, if you're watching it for someone who's not a romantic person of interest, maybe you could get something out of it. But if there are romantic things specifically referred to, you can just kind of sift that out, I suppose. But this is geared toward someone who is a romantic connection or romantic interest, and they're coming up in your dreams and you're wondering what's going on with that. All right, so I hope that all makes sense. So again, we have option number 1, Amaterasu. Option number 2 is Gaia. And option number 3 is Bast. Take a moment to decide. The timestamps will be listed in the description box with each goddess's name. You can click on that timestamp and I'll see you at your reading. Okay, option number 1, folks, you chose Amaterasu. Let's see why you're dreaming of this person. I do get, because your timestamp was, what was it, 231, which when you add those digits up, it gives you the number 6. It does make me feel that there's a mutuality here, where maybe you're both showing up in each other's dreams, and I think you both are kind of wondering why or what it means. I feel like the difference between the two of you, and maybe this situation is mixed, you know, take it as it resonates, but I feel like maybe on their end, they're kind of happy that you're showing up in their dream, because it's making them feel loved and appreciated, and it's making them feel special and like they have an emotional connection to you. So there must be something going on in their dream of you where you're being sweet and kind to each other. But for you, it's the Judgment reversed. And I had this 7 of Wands. When I was shuffling the deck, I noticed this card, for whatever reason, was the only one that was turned the wrong way. So it stood out to me. I don't know how that happened. But, because I don't even remember, the last reading I did, I don't remember the 7 of Wands being a card that stood out. You know, like spirit guides have a way of like giving us signs and omens. But the 7 of Wands is a sort of defensive card. And so I asked, why is this card coming up? You're coming through as Judgment reversed. So I don't know, in your dream, maybe you felt judged, or maybe you're feeling in general a concern that this person is judging you, or that they don't understand you, or that they're against you in some way. But I think on their end, they're having a sort of dream which is the opposite, which is maybe about you standing up for them and protecting and defending them. Whereas on your end, you're feeling defensive towards this person. But in any case, So you're both having dreams of each other, and I guess that's important, so we'll kind of see more about it. But why is group 1 dreaming of this person? What does it mean, if anything, about the connection itself? Okay, it definitely has a significant meaning. Okay, we've got 3 major arcana. So, you know, sometimes we can dream of a person and we assume that it's telling us something about that actual person. Sometimes that's not the case. We can dream of someone and maybe they're just symbolic of something, or it could just be our emotions processing through our sleep. But here, there is some meaning in this dream that you're having about them that does actually relate to your connection to them. And it has something to do with changes, changes, because I just saw 555, which is the number of change. Changes that are happening in your life, choices that you're making, choices that they're making. Because we have 3 major arcana. Like, this dream is a significant one. So whatever dream or dreams you've been having of them, your spirit guides really are trying to help you understand something about this person's place in your life as it relates to changes. Turn and face strange changes. Yeah. I feel like both of you are making choices. They're coming through as the Lover's card, which it has to do with relationships, but it also, like, many times is interpreted as making a choice. And then you're coming through as the Chariot card, which in this deck shows someone making a choice, right? Am I going to go this way or that way? And then now we have the Judgment card upright, whereas before we had it in reverse. The Judgment is about heeding a call, knowing that there's some change that we must make. There's some calling that we have to rise to the occasion of that calling in our life. On their end, it has something to do with relationships, forging relationships. Maybe on their end, they're trying to figure out how to settle down or how to choose a partner, whether that's you or someone else, like how to choose and really commit. Because we have it, God, I can't think of the word. Anyway, the clarifying card here is the Hanged Man. So it's like how to suspend myself, how to pause and settle in with the energy of a particular person. Gosh, we have all of these cards that are coming out are major arcana, and you're the Chariot card and the High Priestess. It's like on your end, you're trying to follow your intuition about what path you're supposed to make in your life. And I feel like the choice that you are making has a lot less to do with them, but it has something to do with them because maybe it would affect your connection or your relationship with this person in some way. I feel like your spirit guides are wanting you to make a choice. They're wanting you to choose a particular path and rise to the occasion of some calling in life. So for you, what does that have to do with this person? Okay. We have the Empress card. Every card that has come up so far is major arcana. The Empress card and the Tower card. It's like something wants to burst forth from you. You know, the Empress is pregnant, and then we have the Tower card. It's making me think of a seed that's germinating. So a seed has a little husk around the outside of it, right? And then when it germinates, that's when that initial sprout pushes out from the barriers of that outer husk of the seed. It emerges. You're about to go through some significant change or upgrade in your life. You know, for some of you, it could specifically be a pregnancy. But for others, that is more of a metaphor of like some seed germinating or bursting into life. And I think the reason this person is showing up in your reading is because they're proud of you, actually. They're proud of you, and I feel like they want to encourage you. I was thinking that some of you are maybe feeling a little bit defensive. Yeah, we have the Five of Swords. Maybe some of you are afraid that this person might view you as trying to be too competitive, and you don't want them to see you that way. I think it could be as simple as that. You're trying to make something happen in your life, but you don't want to come across as trying to compete or brag. And I don't think that this person is seeing it that way, actually. They really they're very proud of you and encouraging. So that's why they're showing up in your dream. They're trying to encourage you. Yeah, I think this person, I just saw 1111. This person really wants to inspire you. It's almost like they're almost showing up a little bit as a spirit guide themselves to you. Yes, you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing. So if you're interpreting it as them judging you or thinking you're bragging or that you're full of yourself or something, they don't feel that way. They're encouraging you. Yeah, they want this little seed to germinate and sprout that you have in mind. So whether they know about this new path or this newly emerging manifestation that you're making in real life or not, in a psychic sense, this person's spirit and soul is aware of what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to do with your life right now, that you're trying to heed this call and fulfill something that is significant to you, and they're proud of you and encouraging. Is there anything else to say about what this person's, what group one's dream? I think this person is feeling that they're in a place in their life where they're trying to settle in. We've got that energy before. So we have the King of Pentacles, which is rooted, grounded. They're trying to appreciate maybe the fruits. You see this guy's holding a platter of chocolate cake. They're like, let me try to enjoy what I've already created for myself. You know that expression, we don't want to rest on our laurels, but this person is wanting to rest on their laurels a little bit. They're like, you know what, I've climbed to the top of a mountain. I want to kind of settle in here and appreciate the view of this mountain that I have climbed. But they see you as in a different place in your life, group one. They see you as someone who's really forging a new path, a new journey, a new ambition that you're trying to fulfill. I think observing you do that makes this person, on the one hand, really appreciate where they are in their life, but they also appreciate where you are in your life, even though you're in different places. I don't know. I think they're trying to remind themselves to have gratitude. Let's try to go back to the initial cards I had for them. Okay, we had, the Lover's card and the Hanged Man. They're really trying to appreciate what they have in life. And I know that this is geared towards a romantic connection, but for those of you, if this person is in a relationship with you, or you're their primary romantic focus, then they're trying to root in and ground their energy as it relates to you. If they're in a relationship with someone else, which could be the case, right? You could still have romantic feelings for each other and they're in a relationship with someone else, but if that is the case, I will say that they are trying to ground themselves within the choice that they have made to be in that relationship, whether that relationship is with you or someone else. They're trying to see, I made this choice, right? I think there's, you know, they're observing you. They're like, okay, group one is going through a process right now. They're making a big life choice. They're choosing a journey, and they're going to commit to that road that they're going down. They have to in order to see it through, in order to progress as their life is meant to right now. And they're like, I have also made a choice to be in a relationship. Maybe their relationship is you, maybe it's someone else, but whoever it is, they're like, I've made this choice and I need to commit to it and really see what is the full potential. I chose to allow this seed of this relationship to germinate. What does that mean for me? Oh, well. Okay, let's see. We had another card turning the wrong way. How does it happen? That does not normally happen to me. It happened twice with you guys. It's another Wands card. It was the Seven of Wands before. Now it's the Nine of Wands. This person is seeing you as a real warrior. You've got warrior spirit. She's got her shoulder armored. You're ready to shoulder a lot of burdens. You're ready to shoulder a lot of responsibilities. You have had several headaches, literally or metaphorically. You're not afraid to get your boots dirty in order to accomplish what you need to accomplish in life. But they feel like the choices that you are making right now, group one, you're freeing yourself. F-R-E-E-I-N-G. I have to spell that because of my accent. It makes it hard for me to say things sometimes. Freeing. You are freeing your energy. But you have to be willing to sort of make sacrifices in order to get to that next stage in life that you know that you're destined for. It's like you are having faith and trusting that you are going to get to the light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to kind of go through a dark tunnel for now, or you have been going through a dark tunnel, and maybe now you're seeing the light at the end of it. But you've had to kind of go on faith. And this person they're just so proud of you. They're so proud, and they just feel like you are so golden. You're so persevering. Like you are not afraid, again, to get your boots muddy. You're not afraid to do the hard work that life asks you. You know, God sometimes calls us, when we have a calling, it usually isn't easy. A calling generally requires sacrifice. It requires dedication. It requires taking risks. It requires doing the hard work. This person that you're watching this for, they're showing up in your reading because they know that you are making these sacrifices for an important reason and that it's so meaningful to you. And it helps them on their end to understand why they are having to make the sacrifices that they have made. Because sometimes they doubt. Sometimes they doubt the choice that they've made in partner, especially if it's that they're with someone who's not you. I don't want to harp on that too much, but it's a real scenario that people find themselves in, and I feel like it is important here. We had a lot of major arcana in the beginning. You know, the two of you have a special connection, but if they're in a relationship with someone else, they do wish that they weren't, because I do feel like they have significant feelings for you. But at the same time, they feel like they've committed themselves to that relationship. Yeah, and they want to see it through. They want to be responsible for the choice that they have made. And so you're being responsible for some sort of life path choice that you're making that's not necessarily romantic. You know, maybe it is committing to a partner yourself for some of you, but I think for most of you it's something more about heeding a calling, you know, some sort of life purpose sort of thing. Although a relationship can be a life purpose too. We can have many life purposes, but you get what I'm saying, right? But they're seeing the dedication that you have, basically, and it's like it's helping them to come to terms with, okay, I have to make sacrifices too. It's not easy to make sacrifices, but there are reasons that we do that. There are reasons that we make sacrifices. Okay, what else for group 1 here about... Yeah, they're trying to find more gratitude, and they're trying to like see the blessings in the choices that they have made. This person feels like, you know, realistically, like, I kind of do have the sweet life. I have a sweet life. Things are going well for me. I've got a lot going on in my life, and I want to really appreciate that. I don't want to just let it pass me by. And I think in some ways they do feel like they have this sweet life more than you do, because you're coming through as the 6 of Wands reversed. They're coming through as the Wheel of Fortune upright. But the shared energy is the Queen of Wands. Like, they feel like almost like you, group 1, are having to almost like put your sweet life on hold, or like sacrifice the sweeter, easier things in life right now in order to get to the finish line, right? But they're like, I'm kind of at the finish line. I've gotten to the top of the mountain. I'm observing the beautiful view. You know what I mean? And it's not, don't think of it as a comparison, because they see that you're a contender. You are someone who has victories. You are someone who will succeed or has succeeded. You know what I mean? But they just feel like you're in a place right now where you're having to sacrifice a lot of the sweet life in order to accomplish some sort of life purpose. And they're like, I don't think that group 1 would appreciate it very much if I was not appreciating where I'm at in my life. You know, that's what they feel that you would encourage them to do, is to count their blessings and really revel in the moment of where they are, instead of like mourning the fact that they made a choice that they're not sure if they should have made. They're like, I made this choice. I made this choice for a reason. I'm going to be dedicated to the choice that I've made, and I'm going to like appreciate that I have many blessings in my life. So some of these things that I'm saying could be related to your dream that they've had, but it also could be things that are coming through to them in their dream that they have had of you. Anyway, I feel like this person is trying to celebrate their own successes right now in life, and they also want to be able to celebrate your successes. You know, like, they are the 4 of Wands upright. This is about milestones and celebrations. They're seeing you as the 4 of Pentacles reverse. Again, you might be a little bit in a holding pattern because you haven't gotten to the so-called success or fruition of what it is you're trying to achieve right now. But they know that you're going to, and they're excited for you. They're looking forward to being able to applaud you right when you cross that finish line, so to speak. For some of you, maybe that's literal. Maybe it is a race or a marathon or something, or a 5K. But for a lot of you, that's going to be a metaphor. You know, like, they want to see you fulfilling this purposeful path that you're going down, and they want to be able to applaud you. But their desire to applaud you when you get there is reminding them that they need to applaud themselves. They really feel that they need to hold space for themselves right now. Is there anything else that group 1 needs to know about this person and its dream? Again, for those of you where this is someone who's in a committed relationship with someone else, they do feel that you love them. They do feel that maybe you also feel the burden of the fact that they are with a different person, that you feel a sort of emotional burden. But they're like, you know, they're kind of like, selfishly, I have to still stand my ground within this relationship that I'm in and find the best in it and appreciate it for what it is, right? I can't just hate this path that I have in life because it may at some level cause group one to have jealousy. It's kind of like they're trusting that it's on you, group one, to handle your emotions. And they do see you as a very emotionally and psychologically strong person who is mature enough to handle matters of the heart in a situation like this. They feel that you're capable of understanding that there is love between the two of you, even if they have to, be dedicated to this other relationship and make the most of it. They know that you're mature enough that you would want them to do that, actually. You would want them to meet their expectations of the choice that they have made in partner and appreciate their life. All right, anything else? Anything else? I'm gonna know here because most cards are reversed, but I just want to say 555, right? 5 of Swords, 5. Oh no, that's a 2 of Swords. Never mind. But we have 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords. I think it's meaning like the 2 of Swords is kind of like making choices as well and going for that choice, like throwing a dart and hitting that bullseye in the choices that we're making. And it's like, I know that group one would not try to persuade me against a significant choice that I've made for my life. And I also would not try to persuade group one against making a significant choice that they needed to make in their life. I think they feel that both of you are kind of like spiritually guided or attuned to some sort of higher purpose or like God's will for you. And so they respect you on those terms. Like group one is following God's will for their life. I'm following God's will for my life. And neither of us would argue against the other one doing that. Regardless of what choice it would lead each of us to in doing that, in following God's will, we'll have to make certain choices, dedicate ourselves to certain paths that we have chosen. And they're saying, I respect group one for following God's will for their life, for whatever that means to them. And they feel that you do the same for them. So I'm going to end on that note. This is a pretty long reading, group one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, group two, you chose Goddess Gaia. Let's see, what does your dream of this person mean? Why are you dreaming of them? Okay. I feel like this person wants more with you. They want something more significant with you. We have the Ace of Pentacles and the Two of Cups reversed. So it's like they see some sort of potential here of love that requires a greater level of commitment. I feel basically they can see themselves committing to you. So there's something about the dream that has to do with that desire to commit. The shared energy between the two of you is the Four of Swords reversed. So I think that they feel that both of you may not think that you're getting exactly what you want out of the romantic situation between the two of you as what you're looking for. Like neither of you are quite feeling like, okay, this is where it needs to be, right? And for them, it's because I think they do want more of a commitment. But you're coming through as the Temperance card in reverse. So is this the truth of how you are, or is this just how they're feeling? I think this is just an assumption that they're making about you, that you are maybe not at the place of wanting that same level of commitment. They're seeing you as kind of a restless energy when it comes to your all's connection. They do feel like you're restless and maybe still wanting to maintain freedom. That, again, that may or may not be true of how you feel or view it, but they're feeling that way, and that feeling on their end has something to do with what this dream is that you've had of them. They kind of feel like you are not quite ready to jump off the diving board into something that's more settled. It's almost like they feel that you may not want to commit, or you might have like a cold feet or something, because you're afraid that if you do commit, that you'll regret making that choice. I do feel like they view you as someone who's been like open and honest in some way. I'm seeing them viewing you as very open and honest about what you're trying to do with your life. Now, you might be talking about what you're trying to do with your life, and you're not personally viewing it as something that would get in the way of making more of a solid commitment to them. But they're feeling that way. So maybe you've talked about, you know, a job that you've applied for that's on the other side of the country or the other side of the world, or it's far away from them. And in your mind, you're not thinking of that as being an obstacle. You're just not viewing it that way. That's just an example. It could be something else, but there's something that you have said. Maybe you've told them that you're also still talking to other people. I don't know, but you've been open and honest about something, and you did not say that with the mindset that that means you're against or hesitant to commit to them, but they have interpreted that way, and they interpreted it specifically as you basically trying to tell them. Right? I keep saying 333 on the timestamps throughout. It keeps coming up at various moments in different ways. But like they feel that you are wearing your heart on your sleeve, and they think that the heart you're wearing on your sleeve is telling them that you do have like romantic feelings, like passion, romantic passion for them, but that you're also passionate about other things in such a way that they're not going to be necessarily your number one priority. That's another way of putting it. Yeah. They don't feel like they're going to ever be like your number one priority. The irony here is, like, I feel like they're coming through as the Knight of Wands. Like, they also like have other things that they're passionate about. You know what I mean? You're both passionate people. You're both like sort of adventurous, compassionate, or like maybe, well, compassionate too, probably, but like passionate, like in the zest of life, right? Trying to spice things up in life, keep things interesting, you know, like always doing something new, expanding your horizons, right? You're both doing that, and yet they're viewing the fact that you're always wanting to expand your horizons as you not being ready for a commitment to them, or some greater level of commitment. Let me take a drink of my coffee here. I think that 333 means, because when you see 333, it's a sign that your spirit guides are around you, or that like the ascended masters are present, which is like they're trying to give a message. And right, ascended masters are not going to lie to you. So I think that's where that's like honesty. They feel that you're like basically trying to make it super obvious to them that you're committed to other passions in life, and they're like, okay, I see your honesty, but you know, like, anyway, it's affecting them because they do want this greater level of commitment with you, and they feel like you don't. It's almost making them want to move on, because they're a little bit like, well, I want all or nothing with you, group 2. Sometimes I'm in the middle of reading, I forget which group number I'm talking to. Group 2, they're like, I want all or nothing with you, and if you can't commit, if you can't solidify things with me, we have the Devil card reverse, which is Capricorn energy. Capricorn cements things, it solidifies and crystallizes things. But like, if you can't solidify this through some sort of significant tie to me, whether it's calling it a legitimate relationship, or if you're in a relationship, getting engaged and married, you know, whatever that means for the two of you, they're like, if you can't do that, then I kind of want to like move on and find someone else who is ready for that level of commitment. And again, I feel like this is them misunderstanding or misinterpreting you. But yeah, so I feel like whatever this dream is, this is their mindset that's trying to come through in your dream. Is there anything else that group 2 needs to know here? You know, they don't want to have to make another choice or find someone else. They really feel like you're the cream of the crop, and that you're the person that they're supposed to be with. But they just feel like they've been put in a position where they're not ever going to get your undivided heart. For some of you, maybe you even have children already, and you have to give time and attention to your children, and they're not understanding that. For some of you, it's just your passions in life, or, you know, like just what you're choosing to do with your life, you're really passionate about. And I don't know, it's like they want all of your heart. They don't want to have to let go of you, but they're really in this all or nothing, like, group 2 has to give me all of themselves, and I have to be their number 1 priority every waking moment, or I'm moving on. Or I feel like maybe I have to move on. Okay, is there anything more about the dream that we need to know about? So despite this person's reservations, again, like, they don't want to have to start again with someone new. They don't want to have to do that. They want to stay committed to seeing where it goes with you and trying to be patient with it, with where it's going with you, but it is not easy for them. And to be honest, I don't think that this connection has been easy for you either. I think both of you have been kind of emotionally triggered by this connection, you know, because I feel like on your end, you might be triggered by the fact that you're like, I've done everything, I've been everything to you, I've done everything that I could, you know, to show you my worth and my value in your life, and it hurts that you're not seeing it. And what they're hurting with is that they're like, I have put time and energy, I've invested myself in this connection, and we're just at the 7 of Pentacles, and I wanted it to be at the 10 of Pentacles yesterday. And if it's not at the 10 of Pentacles yesterday, then it hurts my heart, or it makes me feel rejected or unloved. But the irony is, and I feel like at some point this person might have an aha moment where it's like, oh, now I get it. Group 2 wants the 10 of Pentacles also. Duh. We both want the same thing with each other. We both want like a lifelong commitment. And the fact that our emotions were maybe like we weren't dealing with the situation well emotionally, it was coloring our understanding of each other. I wasn't understanding Group 2's intentions to settle down with me and be or be more committed with me, because my emotions were providing an inaccurate lens. My emotions were unsettled, and it made me view things inaccurately. Hopefully that makes sense how I'm explaining it. They're gonna have an aha moment, I feel. And I think that that will be a significant turning point for the two of you when they have this aha moment. But in the meantime, don't hold your breath, because this person, you know, they get real triggered by their emotions and feeling unloved. Okay. So I feel like that's all about the dream. So whatever you're dreaming about, I mean, I have lots of different people watching this, so I don't know specifically what's going on in your dream, but like, this is the energy with this person that's leading you to have that dream. So hopefully it makes sense. I do also do dream interpretation readings. For those of you who are interested, you can go to my website and order that. And that's a little bit different. A dream interpretation reading means I'm looking at the actual symbolism of what specifically occurred in your dream. And I might pull tarot if necessary as well, but you know, it's different from this. Like, I can't do a dream interpretation reading for you this way because I don't know your specific dream, right? Like, everyone watching this is going to have a different dream, but the energy of what I described is what's it's kind of what's causing this dream to emerge. So hopefully that makes sense. But I do want to ask for you, Group 2, is there anything else about this connection that you need to know? We have the Ace of Swords reversed, the Two of Swords reversed, and the World card. Your spirit guides are saying, you got all the info. We have told you everything you need to know. There's nothing else. There's no further information necessary at this moment. Spirit guides are funny sometimes. All right, Group 2, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope that that was helpful, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Group 3, you chose Goddess Bast. Let's see why you are dreaming of this person. What does your dream about them mean? Maybe what energy between you and this person that you have a romantic connection to is leading you to have this dream. I feel like this may or may not be connected to the dream, but it's coming through, so I just want to say it. This person thinks about you. They're very introspective and thoughtful about you, especially when they're working or when they're like tinkering with things or when they're working out. It could be that they're working at something, like it feels like for some of you they're repairing something, or repairing a car, repairing a laptop, repairing a bicycle, or they could be exercising, like working out, or they could be at work doing their work. There's something about working or working out. Anyway, they think about you while they're doing this. So I just want to get that message out because it's coming through, but I will answer this specific question about the dream. Was there more about that? I just feel like this person feels kind of like when they're thinking about you at these times, they feel kind of like sad and remorseful. Like there's a melancholy feeling, and I feel like they can't even put a finger on it themselves. why do I feel sad or melancholy when I think about group 3? Because they love you. They think you're amazing. They have very positive thoughts of you as a person. But then when they're thinking about you, they get really melancholy and sad. And they're not sure how to feel about that. Like, why do I get melancholy and sad when I'm thinking about group 3? They're like, what does that mean? In the same way that you're wanting to know what your dream about them means, they want to know, what does it mean for our connection that I feel this melancholy feeling when I'm thinking about group 3? I think they're afraid that it means that you don't like them or that you're dissatisfied with them or something. I think they also are wondering if it means that you're sad or you're melancholy. You know, kind of like when I think about group 3 and I feel sad, is it because I'm picking up on, like, am I empathetically feeling group 3's feelings and they're like sad and depressed right now and I'm feeling it for that reason? They're not sure what it means, but it puzzles them. And anyway, your spirit guides wanted to let you know. So that was coming through. But about this dream that you're having about this person, what does it mean? So this person has made a choice to have a child with someone. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone else, maybe it's both. Some sort of choice to have a child with someone. And that's why they're showing up in your dream. It has something to do with this choice of having a child. So if this is someone who doesn't have a child or a child on the way, then I don't think this is your reading, because this is a very specific message. So why is this coming up in your reading? Because I feel like this person, if they do have children with you, they're excited about that. They like the fact that having a child with you kind of makes the emotional connection with you stronger, or makes you more of a presence in their life, that the two of you have to continue to be involved in each other's lives because you have this precious child, you know, that you brought into the world. If not, they want to have a child with you. They do feel, with whoever they have a child with, right? They do feel it, they know that it creates a more of an emotional bond at some level. Even if they're not still in a relationship with that person or whatever, they value the bond of, we created a life together. So that's how they feel just in general about it. And they're either glad that they have that connection to you, or like I said, if the two of you haven't had a child or are not expecting a child, then they want that with you because they know that it has emotional significance. It's like an expression of love. In their mind, having a child with someone is an expression of your love for them. I think this person feels that you may not have as much conviction about that choice of having a child together. I don't want to have to stumble all over myself every time I say something, because like some people you will have already had a child, some people you haven't, but like I'm just saying, like regardless of what this exact situation is, they don't feel that you feel that same level of conviction, like this was a good choice, I'm glad to be having a child, or I want to have a child, you know what I mean? They don't feel like you feel the same level of conviction about it. And I do feel like they wish that you understood more what it means to them And maybe they could be wrong too, right? That this is just their perspective. Maybe you do have the same level of conviction, actually. I do feel like for those of you who are a mother, you're a very loving mother, or father as the case may be. Like, you're a very loving parent, right? And they see you that way, but they don't think that you necessarily have the same conviction about the bond that it creates between the two of you to have brought a life into the world together. That's what they're not sure if you have the same level of conviction about. So just to clarify, this person really gets in their emotions about you as well. So I feel they make their life choices regarding you, or want to make life choices regarding you, that create a stronger, firmer, more grounded bond. That emotional bond with you that is unmovable, that's what they want with you. That's their desire. That's what they seek. This person is definitely in love with you. But they feel a lot of pain regarding their love for you. I think that they have trouble understanding whether or not they mean as much to you as you mean to them. They kind of feel like group 3 could either take me or leave me, you know? But they're like, I don't feel that way. I couldn't just take group 3 or leave them. I can't be that unbothered about it, right? But they kind of feel like you're unbothered. Like, I could just take you or leave you. That's how they think you feel about them. And it hurts. It hurts them. You know, they think in their head, like, you know, of the various ways people go about keeping someone in their life, getting married, having kids. It's almost like they feel like even if we did both of those things, we could merge our finances, get married, have kids, like all the things that bind two people to each other. And they're just like, group 3, you would always still be able to keep yourself sort of at an emotional distance from me, even if we did all those things. So they're kind of like, what is the point of even trying? Like, that's what hurts them. They're like, I feel like I want to do, or I have done all these various things to try to put my little pinchers into group 3 and like clench onto them. And they're like, it's like trying to lasso the moon. Group 3 just keeps slipping out of my fingers. There's nothing that I can do. At an emotional level, group 3 is always holding themselves apart from me. And it's because group 3 is not as emotionally invested as I am. Again, all of this is coming from their perspective. Their perspective doesn't have to be the actual truth. But I'm telling you what they're thinking and feeling. And what they're thinking and feeling that I've described is causing you to have this dream. I think that this person is significant to you as well. But I also feel like on your end, maybe you've had to stand up to them in a way. And like they are assuming it means you're always trying to keep yourself at an emotional distance. But I think it's like you're trying to conserve your own sense of autonomy. Like you don't want to become enmeshed with them. And they're just kind of taking it personally, I think. This person wants to be like the crown jewel in your life. The crown jewel in your life. They want you to feel that being with them is the most special experience that you've ever had. And that may be actually the case, you know, like, but it's hard for this person to like feel that that is the truth. Anything else that group 3 needs to know about this dream? I feel like this person really takes it personally and views it as a setback in your all's relationship or connection. Anytime you focus on anything in your life that is not them. Like, they really just, they need a lot of attention. They need a lot of validation. And anything else in your life that's special. It could be a hobby, it could be your job, it could even be your kids, ironically. They have a hard time accepting that because it triggers them and makes them feel that they're not loved by you. Wow, I just heard in my head, this person has intense psychological rages. They rage against the machine of their mind and their emotions. Emotions are not easy for this person. They try to like compartmentalize their emotions and not feel their emotions sometimes because emotions are generally not pleasant. They try to push emotions away. They view emotions as a distraction. They'd rather like think their emotions than feel their emotions. They hate the feeling of their feelings. Oh, it feels awful to them. So they'd rather like use logic than emotions. When this person allows themselves to get into a place emotionally, which you do cause them to be very emotional, but they really try to sidetrack it and avoid it because it, what was I going to say? It makes them feel anxious, makes them feel a little bit fucking crazy. They feel fucking crazy. And they start to like come up with, it gets them paranoid. Oh my God, it makes them so paranoid sometimes when they're in their emotions. Oof, like I feel this yuckiness in the pit of my stomach. They're like, I gotta get away from that. It's not just when it comes to you, but also in general, like they're like that with their emotions. They can't just sit easily with their emotions. Oof, God. So anyway, they'll do anything that they can to avoid having emotions. They get so paranoid. I do feel like though that approach to life has really worked for this person, generally speaking, like compartmentalizing their emotions has helped them to succeed and accomplish their goals in life more easily. Okay, anything else about this dream? Your spirit guides just going to keep going and keep going. This person is very concerned with you cheating on them, or even having like an emotional infatuation or interest with someone else. They're so scared of that. They feel that you can almost intellectualize and justify having an emotional interest in someone else. Like, well, just having a crush on someone or having feelings for someone isn't cheating. I'm just curious about someone else. You know what I mean? Like, they feel like in your mind you justify that, and again, that may or may not be true, but this is what they're thinking, and it really makes them very nervous and skittish that you are engaging in, at the very least, some sort of emotional cheating. But they're also scared of you leaving them or leaving them behind. I feel like for those of you who this person is someone who would pray, P-R-A-Y, this person prays that you don't leave them. Oh, please don't let group 3 leave me. Please don't let them leave me. They feel like you don't tell them everything, and they feel like you could even be like secretly hatching some sort of plot to leave them and develop a relationship with someone else. So for those of you that you're not actually in a relationship with this person, then they may just feel like you're going to get involved with someone else and then they won't have a chance with you anymore, or something like this. I feel like this person projects a lot onto you. Like, you could just be sitting and thinking about, like, oh, how am I going to redo the kitchen? Or, you know, like, what am I going to put on my grocery list? And they're projecting all sorts of, like, paranoid thoughts on, like, oh, group 3 is sitting over there thinking about this person that they're really in love with, you know, who's not me. You know what I mean? And you're just like, you're thinking about going to the grocery store is the actual reality. Okay, any more to say about this connection? Your spirit guides just have a lot to say. I feel like you are, this person knows that you are their end goal, and you might actually feel the same way, but they are assuming, I mean, we're kind of getting the same thing over and over in different ways, but they're assuming that you are still a rolling stone, that you have not yet decided that they are your end goal. Or at the very least, they feel that if the two of you parted ways, it would be a lot easier for you. And even that bothers them. Even the idea that it would just be easier for you to move on than it is for them also bothers them. Okay, so I do feel like we finally come to the end of the reading. I hope that that was helpful and gave you clarity. You know, somehow whatever's coming through is connected to the symbolism or like what's happening in your dream. So hopefully you'll be able to put 2 and 2 together and figure out what it all means. But in any case, I would hope that this gave you some clarity about your connection to this person and the dream that you've had about them. And I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.